Hello, Logo 304. Hope everybody had an enjoyable, scary Halloween. We're back on the day after Halloween, give you an update on what's happening with Logo 304. So first of all, we'll start out with our website. We did a recent addition on the website now. So if you go out, look at those tabs across the top, you'll see we've added a tab for insurance. So under that tab, a member can go in and request further information on some of the supplemental stuff that we offer there. So it's another added benefit for being a union member, and always exploring what other options are out there. You know, with all these high deductible plans, more and more of our companies are moving to throughout our jurisdiction. I'd like to see some sort of stopgap type insurance. So exploring those options. Obviously everything has to be affordable. Offset the cost of what your PPO would look like with the high deductible plan, and do you still save money by buying a supplemental to bridge those gaps on the deductible. So always exploring those options, and hopefully you'll have more information to come with that. Currently Local 304 has about 26 open calls, so we're hoping that our members coming back for the holidays can help fill in some of these calls. I know that the concern on the customer side of things is what's going to happen whenever the work cuts loose and we got to man that stuff, and if we don't have our union guys to man that, how are they going to go out and explore their options for how they're going to man it? So let's help us take care of our calls. Got the Four Rivers Agreement. I think I told you last week or in our last call that we had it ratified. So Four Rivers, Flint Hills, and the Sunflower contracts now have all gone to the IO. Still got the Wheatland contract under signature review. Got DS&O contract now sent off to the printers. So we're getting a lot accomplished this late in the year. I want to talk a little bit about COPE. And I know that you hear about COPE, the Coalition on Political Education. I know you hear about that at your unit meetings, and obviously we accept those donations, but we also do payroll deduction. And so I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about, for those of you that don't know what COPE is the only way that we are able to get dollars to send to political candidates. The exact process works like this. Local union takes in the dollars earmarked for COPE, we send it off to DC, and then when we, Local 304, you, the member, has a political candidate that you'd like to see us endorse and give some money to, then we send them out a questionnaire. We make sure that their values are the same values that labor needs, things that actually affect your pocketbook that they're going to vote in favor of. And then we have a discussion with them, and then we can request specific dollar amounts to send to that candidate. So I want to make perfectly clear this has nothing to do with partisanship. I can say it. That it doesn't matter if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, Libertarian. If your values meet ours and the needs of labor, then we're obviously excited about getting you some money and endorsement. The other very important fact is it's all local. None of our dollars go to support none of Local 304's dollars ever go back to DC. So we only support local candidates, and it's your money, it's your direction. So we'd really like to find ways to increase our COPE funding. And I know you would like to find ways to make sure that the candidates that you're familiar with, if they have that labor background, labor needs in mind for their voting, then we would like to support them. So please contact this office if you have any questions about that. And again, we accept donations, but that payroll deduction is a pretty cool thing. Just to put a couple of bucks a paycheck into payroll deduction to support COPE is a great thing. Give you a line clearance update. I know we talk frequently on these videos about what's going on with line clearance, since there's so much work happening outside the state of Kansas. So some of the questions I hear is, don't I get paid the higher rate of Westar or the agreement I'm working under? The Westar agreement that we have for line clearance, the line clearance agreement that we have that works on Westar property, it very clearly states that this is for the conditions while working on Westar property. So if your employer moves you to another area, you really need to be asking about what those conditions are, because if there's another union contract out there, then that's the union contract you're going to follow, and so the wages, health care, and all those things can be different. Again, if you're not a union paying member, dues paying member here in Kansas, and your employer moves you to a closed shop state, then that other union is going to expect that you become a member since you're not currently, and then that's going to have a tendency to screw up your benefits, so you're don't have the electronic or reciprocal system that brings those hours back to make sure your line code stays intact. So lots of things to think about. Please contact David or Chris Ubel and have these conversations proactively so that we don't have to worry about trying to take care of things on the after, or not being able to take care of things after you come back. We have Northrop Grumman negotiations kicking off next week. We'll be at the Capitol Plaza Hotel in downtown Topeka. We'll be there Monday. We're scheduled Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Feel free, if you got time, to come out there to Capitol Plaza and show your solidarity and support for those Northrop Grumman contract negotiations. Westar. So let's start out with the blackout period is closely approaching on the Vanguard move to Empower, and the reason why that's important, if you want to roll money, as we talked last time about rolling your company contributions and whatever monies that made back into Vanguard, it takes about 10 days or so for that to happen. And so you really need to get that process started with Vanguard. So the way it works, you contact Vanguard, tell them what you want to do. They'll send you out the paperwork. You fill out the paperwork. That allows you to do that. Now again, remember, tax rules come into play. So 59.5, no penalty. Under age 59, you're going to lose your company match for 6 months if you do that. So gotta think that through. But just wanted to make sure you're aware of the time frames. As I understand them, the 10 days is about what it takes to make it happen. So that's what I've been told. Also, we had our FR safety rules grievance, impact bargaining with distribution power delivery grievance. Working on a settlement to that. More details to come out, but it looks like we're going to be able to maintain some status quo on those things, including the hot crews and the FR. Still don't have all the I's dotted and T's crossed yet, so it's getting closer. We did meet for the first time with Generation, same rules, talking to the company about that change. I hope you understand that the company has the fiduciary responsibility to oversee the safety. Obviously, the union only can try to mandatory subjects to bargaining have to be discussed through us. So we can't change the safety rules. We can only lessen the impact on the employees whenever the company makes those decisions. So working through that process now. You're going to hear more, but that was just the first meeting. So contact any of your reps. Had Leonard Harris out of operations in Lawrence, had Todd Daniels out of electricians out of Jeffrey, and had Bill Storman out of Jeffrey's fuel crew, and Jacob Simon out of mechanics for Jeffrey. So you can contact any one of those guys and find out how the negotiations went. Not a whole lot the first day, just kind of exploration. Field communications, the field communications, I've been contacted to set up a meeting to discuss some shared labor there across the east and west of Evergy. I still have trouble saying that. Westar workers into KCPL land, so going to hold that first meeting sometime mid-November. Again, really looking forward to our negotiations when we can make sure that we take care of all these issues in a way that maintains everybody's ability to be successful. We struck the ARB panel for the Jeffrey Energy Center Prince arbitration, so that moving along in the process. Now the next step will be to notify the arbitrator, get dates, and then we'll start preparing for that arbitration. The briefs are due today for the nepotism arbitration from Jeffrey Energy Center that we held several months ago. So getting closer to a ruling on that. I think Local 304, that's really oh, I did want to have one general statement that I wanted to discuss with you today is, and this goes for every one of our agreements, please be aware of what the grievance time limits are in your contract. I really get discouraged when I hear that one of our workers has been harmed, but they don't tell us about it until months later, and we're out of the time frame to deal with that. So please know that the minute you are harmed, you need to be reaching out to union leadership, your shop steward, your assistant business manager, this office. You can do an email to lu304 at IBEW 304.org. So anything that starts that process, because if we don't know about it, we can't do anything. And if it turns around that it's a month later, we're out of the time frames in most cases. So thanks, Local 304. Keep up the good work, stay in touch, and enjoy your weekend. I got some really exciting news, and I think this is important that all of Local 304 welcome the 30 new members that we brought in the month of October. So congratulations and welcome to those 30 new members.